Hello viewers, welcome to Core for Any. Swift UI taxi drivers apps inside. Today we need to see this here the calling here the start rides API we need to calls and also need to save this here the locations inside the locals files inside need to all data save here the moving change this here the locations one place to another place need to every change points need to save inside the local files and complete times need to send these files inside the ride stop and to get this here the real data here why need to save inside the local files because need to sometime maybe possible some area inside the not available networks that why not calling here the current locations sending api gets here the always fails because locations not sending and timeouts need to get this here that's why I need to save this here the data also inside the local files first of all need to go inside the location managers we need to go inside the view models and to write down here the some variables need to declare here first of all need to where is save file locations by default need to set this here the false where's also need to give this here the booking id because we need to need here which booking id inside we need to save this here integer 0 like this at here and then after so need to write down here the save inside the files functions need to write down here now scroll down and after the API calls need to write down here mark location save in file like this right here the mark now create here the functions write location to file and now need to give this here the locations cl location and also need to pass this here the booking id is equal to integers like this we need to write here the function first of all need to write down here the do catch functions do and write down here the catch and now need to print here pass here the booking id dot here file save error and to print this here the error message dot localize descriptions like this need to write inside the catch block now first of all need to find here the catch directory path need to need here to like down here the if let file is equal to file manager dot default dot need to get this here the urls and need to give this here the cache directory and option users domain marks we need to set this here and need to get this here the first urls and now need here the file path need to open here the bookings and to create here the file path for the saving append dot append component parts and to write down here dot booking id dot txt and remove here's only circles like this. After getting here the path, need to first of all the print here path because we need to open this files, this location. We need to need this here. Show here, save or not need to verify. That's why I need to print here debug purpose. Now need to give this here the path file path dot path need to get here path string like this here. Now need to check here if already this file exists then to open this data inside these files if not exist then to create here the new files first of all now need to check here file manager dot default dots need to check this here the file exists path need to give this here the file path dot path if gets then to open text inside the file else parts, new file, like this is. Now, first of all, need to check here the file handlers. Need to need this here. So write down file handler is equal to try use this here the file handler and need to use this here the write to path. Need to use this here the file path and call this here the file handler dot sync to end files. Like these functions need to calling here and we need to write down here the file handler dot write data need to pass this here. First need to append here the comma because already added this location and to append need to comma and now need to set here the space column value same as now need to copy here three times like this need to set here. Now need to pass here the latitudes and longitudes need to give this years latitude then after longitudes then after need to set here the time years and now need to give this here the location dot coordinate dot latitudes same as now copy paste this years and to write down here the longitudes and now need to give this here the times is equal to date and date objects need to create years then after need to create into the string and to show this here the extension methods need to give this like format here the y mm dd hh mm ss like this need to format in title need to save this here the times of the this latitude longitudes like this we need to settings here and to save this years and then after we need to these things we need to convert into the string data using we need to encode here the youtube 8 and experimental science. Now file helper dot close files all this here these functions. Now same as now need to create here the write files need to write down here the try catch tries and need to copy this data and need to paste this here. Now need to remove here the comma because first set this data that's why no need here the comma. If you second time then to need here the always comma because need to making here the array and to get here the JSON string working format that's why I need to set here the comma and now if you first time then need to remove here the comma make sure otherwise gets here the JSON parsing inside the errors. Now need to call this here the right to urls need to give this here the path file path and to save these files. Now successfully need to write down here the right files same as now need to read JSON so need to use this here the files need to write down here the functions get write save location JSON string and now need to pass this here the booking ID as integers and we need to return here the string JSON string. Like this we need to write down. First of all, need to write down here the do catch. Now need to copy here this data, paste this here and to write down here file read error and remove here the file against this data and also need to return here. If gets any errors, then to return here the double quotes inside the blank array. Same as now need to copy and else parts right here like this returns. And also if you catch error, then to also return this here the blank array. And now we need to write down here else parts. Need to read this here the files. First of all need to get this here the text. Let text is equal to try block, and need to write down here the string with need this here the content of the files urls. Need to give this here the file path dot path like this here, and get this here the encode data. Set here UTF-8 like this here. If you get this here, then to return this here the string and return this here text for the reading this. Set here the file path URLs. Content of files and to pass this here dot path like this. Now we need to starting here the write locations. We need to two functions need to write start write location save and stop write locations. Two functions need to write down here. First of all need to write here the function start write location save. Now we need to pass here the two parameters CL locations and booking ID. Now we need to copy here and we need to paste this here and like this. First of all, need to save this here the booking ID self dot booking ID is equal to booking ID. Need to pass this here self dot write down here the is save file locations. Need to set here the true and also need to save this here self dot save write location to files. We need to write down here the locations. Give this here the booking ID like this here and to write down like this. Now same as now need to write down here the stop write location save functions, and inside you need to get here the self booking ID set here 0 self dot is save locations. You need to set like this. You need to write down C. Now first of all you need to find out here the change locations events in delegates. You need to need this here and to write down here is saving data. You need to need this here. First of all you need to check here if main view if is save locations and booking ID is not equal to 0, then we need to save inside the files. We need to write down here the right location files. We need to give this here the locations and we need to give this here the ID, pass here the booking ID. Like this, we need to use this here the inside the update locations. We need to get and to pass inside the right this data inside the files. This function to open here the new points and to save inside the last of the end of the files, append this data like this here. And now also need to go inside the trip view and to create here the OTP text. You have need to develop here. First of all, need to go here and to copy here the show tools and need to paste this here. And also need to copy here these alerts and we need to give this here and showing this here the error message, because sometimes need to not valid here the OTP and to showing this here the message invalid OTP. That's why I need to need this here, and also need to change this here the titles. We need to give this here the OTP and please enter OTP. Then after need to remove here text and this horizontal text no needs. And now make sure you need to define here the some variables. Add publishers where show put add down here the false, and also need to save here where text blank like this at here. Now need to go and use this here these locations, paste this here. Now need to call this here the RV. Yep, change the status, not change. We need to copy here, done inside this here, and here need to show OTP, set here false, need to close this here. Like this, you need to write down here inside the OTP. Now we need to go driver run write view models and to find out here the change status. Here you need to write down here the if conditions write status ID equal to PS status dot booking PS dot waiting for users. And first of all, you need to check this here. If here show OTP is equal to not equal to true, then we do first of all show and to return these functions. Show OTP and to write down here the true and to return these functions. And then after we need to check this here the OTP is valid or not. After opening this here, we need to write down here the if conditions. If txt OTP count not equal to or, then to show here the error message, please enter valid OTP and show error. Like this, need to write down here and to return these functions. Self and to write down here. One more things. After some need to calling this here the new API, need to go here, go to jumps and to write down here the API names. Right start, right start, and also need to change here API name. Right, like this. And now need to use this here. Now need to go copy here, paste this here. Also need to hit this here the location, here location, and need to change this here SV locations. Right, and also need to write here the functions. If you get here the successfully, and to set here self dot OTP show OTP, set here the false, and also need to print this here the text fields OTP, need to set here the, and now we need to need this here the locations manager inside. We need to call this here the start, right location saving. We need to need this here the start, give this here the location manager dot share dot here save start right location save, and to give this here the locations we need to pass this here, and also need to give this here the ride head self dot ride object value for e, and to pass this here the booking ID as string, and to set here the integers, set here 0, and to pass this here the booking ID, And now make sure you need to delay some here, showing here pop-ups. You need to write down here the dispatch dots main dot async after now plus 0.2 and to execute here the chat this message of the success need to showing like this here and updating this data, and also need to change this here the driver write start like this. You need to write down scenes, and now need to call this here the API. First of all, you need to get this here the locations, last locations is equal to need to get this here the location managers view models dot share and locations. Now need to call this here the API write driver API drivers write start and to pass this here the parameters. First of all, need this here the give the last locations. Now booking ID needs here this parameter equal to self dot write object value for key and to pass this here booking ID. Booking underscore ID as optional blank. Not yet sent to fastest here the blank. And now need this here the pickup locations parameters. Need to set here pickup latitudes and longitudes. Pass this here up latitudes and use this here the last location dot coordinate dot latitudes. Same as pickup longitudes. Location coordinate latitudes longitudes, and also need to pass here the OTP code and that txt OTP codes need to pass here and calling this here the API. Now we need to run these apps. Now need to showing here the start right buttons. Now need to click here, but here not showing here the pop-ups. Maybe make mistake inside the right tips and not change here the display show, and again need to run here. Now click on start and to enter here the OTP. First of all, need to see inside the directly local database. Now open here and need to get this here the last rides. Need to check here's OTP columns. Here's 3799. Enter here the OTP 3799 and enter done. And ride started successfully. Need to get this here. Also need to check here's the show locations. Need to check here path. This need to open this here the open go prompts open here like this showing here, and to open these files and one first location are the show here like this saving here, and now need to close these files and to change this here the locations simulators. Now how to change here, go inside the features locations or custom locations, and we need to write down here the one append here the one and change this here the locations. Need to check here the log here. Also again need to save this file same locations. Now need to opens against this file and you need to check this here opens with the comma separators to save this here the files, and to new locations need to save this here. check here always last without comma because need to read times need to open here the like brackets and also here brackets. That's why I need to complete here the JSON's error without any errors. Now need to remove here no needs because need to open read times. Now need to save here no need to save like this inside the saving all the offline location changing points need to edit inside these files. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care. And tomorrow need to see this here the stop right with the tools pop-ups need to write down and also need to call this here the API right stop.